One thing that's really been bothering me lately in my tabletop games is when you've got duplicate models on a table and you can't figure out which one everybody's trying to kill. Frostgrave in particular, like many garden variety frozen magical ruins, is infested with bloodthirsty gorillas. In the game, they're all specified to be white. So today I'm going to paint 5 white gorillas in different colors. These are our gorillas. They're sculpted by James J. Uncapher. I love these dynamic poses. They look ferocious. Now the base is already very detailed. It's got a lovely rock on it, but I've still affixed some sand before giving them a good blast of primer. Now these gorillas dwell in the urban jungle, so we're starting off by giving our bases a coat of gray paint. Our next step are the base coats. The first one up is Vallejo Sky Blue. Our next ape is getting coated with a 50-50 mix of bone and yellow. And our third ape is getting a nice light gray. And lastly, the most fearsome color of all, pink. Once those coats are good and dry, in comes the dry brush. Across all of our apes, we're going to go over the whole model with white, slowly, building the highlights up carefully until you find them at the brightness you're looking for. I wound up going over each gorilla about 3 times here. Next up, we paint the skin with flesh, basically just the face, the hands, the pecs, and the toe fingers. Next, I'll go over those same areas with a flesh tone wash. I'm covering all of the flesh areas, but focusing on the boundaries of the skin and the recessed areas, particularly on the face.
Alright, cool deal. Now these guys are at a point of completion where I'd happily field them in a game, tabletop standard. However, I want to push things just a little bit further. And that starts with Agrax Earthshade and the deepest features, the eyes, the mouth, and the borders between the skin and the fur. A highlight of bone on the raised areas such as the brow, nose, knuckles, and toes. And while we still have that same paint on the palette, we're going to use it to dry brush the base. Get things looking a little more lively and textured there. Then once that's dry, we're going to give it a wash of Agrax. Here I'm putting it straight from the pot onto the base and then spreading it around with a brush load of water to thin it while it's still on the model. Now you may have noticed by now that my grayish gorilla is missing all of the fingers on his right hand. Now sad to say, this is not uncommon among my resin miniatures, but thankfully I happen to have some Blood for the Blood God by Games Workshop on hand, which dries to look like wet blood. I can apply that to the stubs and make it look like his fingers are freshly missing, and then while I'm at it, I'm going to add some drips to the mouths of my gorillas to reinforce their bloodthirsty nature. Alright, all done. Off camera, I added some quick red dots to the eyes, and I thought that was a nice move. It really reinforces that evil look in their eye. Overall, I'm really happy with how these models came out. They're all very distinct and should be easy enough to identify in a game. Please take a moment to support a new channel and give this video a like, and maybe throw me a subscription. Thanks for watching.